What's up, everybody? You know, I was thinking today because I was thinking, you know, I've been wanting to sit down and make a video for a little while, and you know, I wanted to make one when I stopped last night, but I stopped real late and I was super tired. It was one of those nights where I was like, I'm gonna walk the dog, smoke a cigarette, and go the fuck to sleep. And that's exactly what I did. You know, so I've been procrastinating. And I was telling myself today, like, man, I really fucked up by waiting so long to make a couple of videos. You know, I've been putting them off because so much fucking shit has happened. It's like I'm gonna have to make like 4 fucking videos to cover all the fucking shit I want to talk about. You know, because I've been coming up with all this. I've been like thinking these monologues in my head where I'm like, damn, I should make a video about that. I should put that into a video, blah, 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 and all this shit. You know, I mean, I don't, if you haven't noticed the fucking weird autofocus, I got a brand new phone. I upgraded to the S8. The only reason I upgraded to the Galaxy S8 is because it came with a free tablet. See, I wanted to get the tablet, and T-Mobile was running a promo where they said, well, if you, sorry about the reefer next door, it is what it is. I gotta deal with it, so do you. T-Mobile was running a thing where if you order the S8, you get the tablet for free. And that's what I wanted, was a tablet, so I'm like, might as well just upgrade. I'm gonna end up upgrading at some point anyway. So, sorry about the audio. I don't know how loud that's gonna pick up on the mic, but so this autofocus thing, I don't know how to turn it off. I have to fuck around with the settings, you know. I mean, just looking at it, it actually looks like the the camera is supposed to be better than the S6 that I've always been using for a year and a half, 2 years, or however long. But I don't know. It actually looks kind of grainy in the like lower light. I don't know. I have to fuck with it. Whatever. But you guys don't watch these videos for the awesome production value. You know, I would hope not, because you're going to be disappointed. But there's a couple different directions I could take this video in, and I was just gonna make this one of my just talking videos where I'm just talking about, I'm not really talking about anything that's specifically related to trucking or any of that shit. I'm just talking about whatever, you know. But you know, there is a subject that I kind of wanted to go in on. You know, in the last couple of days, I've you know, I've thought about a lot of things I wanted to say about it, and then of course I've forgotten a lot of those things that I wanted to say. But you know, let me say this. You know, this is so. Earlier this week was the Las Vegas shooting, right? You know, I came off of home time, which I'll probably make another video that's a just talking video where I talk about my home time and stuff like that. But right now, let me try to keep it a little bit more subject specific for the sake of time constraints and shit like that. After coming off of home time, maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that, like when I go on home time, I kind of unplug from what's going on in the world. You know, I stop listening to the news. I'm not really paying attention to shit. I don't even look at my Facebook a whole lot. I'm running around and hanging out with people and going out and doing stuff, and I don't spend a whole lot of time on my phone when I'm at home. And I came back on the road, and I still wasn't really paying attention to what was going on. You know, it takes me a couple days to get back in the groove of driving and doing the job after being off for like 7 days. And I think like the shooting happened on Sunday night, and so that was about a week ago, and I didn't find out about it until I think Monday or Tuesday night. you know, I think I was looking at Facebook or I heard something about it on the radio or something like that. And so I go and I look on YouTube. I'm like, okay, I got to see video of this shit. And I look at the footage of that shooting. And man, I watched it a couple times. That shit is terrifying. You know, if you have the empathy to put yourself in those people's shoes, I was watching those videos like, man, it's like storming the beaches at Normandy without a gun in your hand to shoot back. You know, it's like you're running. It's like you're on the beach with these bunkers shooting down at you with a machine gun, and there's nowhere to fucking hide. You know, that's what it was like. It seemed like to me. It's fucking terrifying. You know, but you know, I just wanted to share my thoughts on the subject just a little bit. You know, and like a lot of my videos where I express my opinions on a particular subject, not all of you are going to agree with me. I can tell you that right now. You know, this video probably going to get some of those assholes that, you know, instead of just saying, like, no, man, see, I don't agree. Like, I think blah, 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 you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to get some of those people that are like, man, fuck you, man, you're a fucking asshole, and blah, 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 and all this shit. Whatever. You know, they're saying, supposedly, this is supposed to be the, like, the most, the worst mass shooting in U.S. history. Right? And, I don't know, I mean, I guess that's true. You know, I was thinking the other day, like, does that count, like, back in, like the 1800s and stuff like that? You know, could there have been, like, a guy who killed a whole bunch of people in, like, the late 1800s that wasn't really recorded, or we forgot about it or something like that? I mean, it's the worst mass history. It's the worst mass shooting in modern history, I think. But, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know. They say it is, so, you know, I'll take your word for it, I guess, you know. I don't really care about that. You know, but, you know, with any mass shooting that happens, it has happened in the last 10, 15, 20 years or whatever, it has reignited the gun control debate, right? Which I have my thoughts on, my opinions on. Because if you guys hadn't guessed already from watching previous videos, I'm a gun owner. Like many truck drivers on the road, you know. And I've owned guns since I was 18 years old. I mean, I've always been interested in guns. I always was fascinated by them, you know, and it wasn't from, like, my upbringing necessarily, like having guns in the household or going hunting or, like, having a heritage like a lot of guys do. You know, I never had any of that shit. I just, you know, I played with toy guns when I was a kid and stuff like that. The first gun I bought a Remington 870 short barrel shotgun because my first apartment when I was 19 years old was in the fucking hood. It was in Acres Homes off of Antoine in Houston, like Antoine and 290, which is a really shitty area, but the rent was dirt cheap. And I wanted to move the fuck out of my parents' house, and I found a joint for $400 a month, and so I moved in there. But it was, you know, I lived around a bunch of crackheads and shit, had my car broken into, you know, so I bought a shotgun just in case some asshole wanted to, you know, knock my fucking door down in the middle of the night. Because I'd have crackheads, not like I'd smoke on my patio because I was on the 3rd floor. Crackheads that lived in my building knew that I was a smoker from seeing me sit on my patio, listen to the radio, and drink beer, and at the end of the day, when I got off work or whatever, and they'd come knock on my fucking door in the middle of the night asking to bum cigarettes and shit, you know? So, just knowing how those motherfuckers are, I bought a shotgun and shit, you know, and then when I turned 21, I sold it, bought a pistol, had a Taurus Millennium Pro, little 40 caliber, which was an awesome gun, by the way. But, you know, over the years, I've gotten more and more into guns. You know, it's become more of a prevalent hobby for me. You know, so now I own several guns, and usually when I go home, that's one of my pastimes, is I go shooting. I go shooting with a friend of mine who also owns a couple of guns, and we go to the range. And that's what I did last time I was home. I even bought another gun Wasn't even planning on buying a gun, but we went to the range. They opened late on Monday, so they weren't open yet. So we had to kill some time. So, you know, I'm like, all right, fuck it. We'll go to Academy. You know, maybe pick up some more ammo or something. You know, whatever. Pick this up, pick that up. And I was looking at guns while I was in there, and I was like, ah, shit. I've really been wanting that gun. You know, and they had it for a decent price. The price has come down on the Beretta 92A1. It's a 9mm handgun, old style. You know, it's like what the military uses, the M9 service pistol, but the civilian version. Really cool gun. Really fucking like it. Heavy as hell though. All steel frame, but it shoots great. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to, you know, just talk. Maybe in another video I could talk about guns I like, guns I want, guns I have, shit like that. You know, but that's not necessarily what I want to talk about right now. I know I'm 10 minutes into this fucking video. You know, the gun control debate is sparked up again. You know, and of course, like a lot of the argument is centered around like bump stocks. You know, and it's what's fucking hilarious to me is anytime something like this happens, like the media trying to explain some weird nuanced thing to just a bunch of normie regular ass people that don't really know what the fuck something is, like most, like, you know, unless you're into shooting guns as a hobby, you know, your average American, I think the vast majority of gun owners in the United States own one, maybe two guns, and that's strictly for home defense. Like they keep it in their nightstand or in a fucking lockbox or a safe or something like that, you know, and that's it. You know, and they don't know what the fuck a bump stock is. And just hearing the media trying to explain what a bump stock is to people is funny to me. But, you know, you know, a lot of what I think has been said by politicians and different people that have been interviewed about this event and about bump stocks and guns and stuff like that. Sorry about the autofocus. I'll try to fix it. I found out about bump stocks maybe a year ago, you know, because I watch a lot of gun tuber videos, gun reviews, and stuff like that, gear reviews and shit. I just listen to commentary about guns, shooting, and everything that has to do with all that shit. You know, it's one of the, you know, because I'm a YouTube junkie, and that's one of the things I watch. Shit that has to do with guns. You know, my first thought when I saw bump fire stocks is like, I can't believe the ATF approved that shit. You know, because it's a loophole product. You know, but at the same time, I was like, it's kind of cool. Seems like it'd be kind of cool to have. But then I was like, whatever. I pretty much forgot about them until all this shit happened. You know, don't really have much of an interest in it. You know, if you want to shoot a fully automatic, if you want to shoot a gun that's fully auto, there's ranges all over the place with Class 3 licenses where you can go rent one, like $30 or $40 an hour, or how much ever they charge, and they've got like AKs and ARs, and some places even have like M249 Bravos and shit, you know, and you can, or Uzis, MP5s, fully auto, and you can go out to the range and shoot them and shit with, like, I think an instructor hangs out and make sure you don't blow everyone away. You know, I mean, I don't really, fully auto is cool as a capability, but wastes a lot of fucking ammo and it's not particularly accurate in my opinion. I prefer semi-auto, because you can actually hit targets with semi-auto. You know, semi-auto and burst fire and full auto have their own, you know, philosophies of use. They have their own, you know, they make sense in a wartime setting when you need to provide covering fire and shit like that, you know. But no, I guess I'm veering off topic just a little bit, but you know, fucking trying to regain my train of thought, because there's like a million different directions I'm trying to go in. You know, like, look, they want to outlaw these bump fire stocks. You know, and I talked to my buddy, my shooting buddy, about it on the phone, and I really wanted to get his take on this whole situation. And we talked about the event a little bit. you know, and he was basically saying, look, man, you know, bump stocks is just one of those things. Like, you got to think, it's, if we can give the because we're gonna have to give the everybody's crying out for something to be done. Like, we got to do something. We got to do something. And really, what they mean is the government's got to do something to try to prevent this in the future. Blah blah blah. So really, what they're trying to do is let's outlaw bump stocks. This wouldn't have happened without bump stocks, which is bullshit. Because I told my buddy on the phone, from the leaked picture that I saw of the event, of all the guns with the bipods and shit, it looked like he was firing with both arms. My theory is that this guy shooting at these people in Las Vegas had a gun in each hand and was resting them on a table or whatever he had set up in front of the window. It was shooting with both hands. And sure, you know, maybe he was using bump stocks or whatever, but, you know, still, you put a gun in each hand on a rest, shooting from an elevated position, you still can have a high-ass rate of fire. But it's beside the point. You know, my buddy said, look, we got to give up something to the Democrats. We'll give them bump fire stocks and let them legalize that shit and try to appease them. Because if the gun lobby and gun owners would try to come out and say, like, no, you know, we can't outlaw bump fire stocks or any accessories of any kind like that because it infringes on our fucking rights, you know. But what he's saying is, like, either we give them this or they're just going to want the whole kit and caboodle. You know, they're going to want to outlaw everything. So you gotta kind of, you know, render unto Caesar here in this situation. And I think that's why the NRA has come out and basically took their official stance on, hey, maybe we could see, I like what their official statement was, something along the lines of, bump fire stocks, slide fire stocks, whatever, need to be, maybe we should take another look at those and see if those are really, those are approved. Like, they've been fucking approved. They've been reviewed and approved by the ATF during the Obama administration. What they're trying to tread lightly and say, like, look, you can go ahead and outlaw these fucking things and we won't make a big deal about it. You know, but they're not coming out right and saying that because I think they don't want to piss off too many gun owners. I get it. I see what they're saying. But I think that's why they said that. Let's feed them these bump fire stocks and say, hey, you know, we did our part to... You know, and I think that's why Republicans are getting on board for it. They can say, hey, we did our part to try to prevent something like this to happen in the future. Look, here's the fact of the matter. You can outlaw bump fire stocks. It ain't going to stop mass shootings. It ain't. It's fucking not. You know, can you think of another mass shooting where bump fire stocks were used? You know? It's not going to stop it. You know? In fact, I go as far as to say there's no way you could stop mass shootings. It ain't gonna fucking happen. You know, the only possible way that you could start to curtail this type of event from happening is what there was some, I don't know if it was FBI agent or Las Vegas Metro cop was talking about it the other day, but they're trying to develop ways to spot behavior that could lead to something like this in the future. Kind of like Minority Report, you know what I mean? Or they could see and stop the crime from happening before it happens. But even that's not going to be foolproof, because, like, this guy is a perfect example. This guy is an absolute perfect example of how, like, the guy had... There's no way that you could have seen this coming. I mean, from the evidence, that's why they're putting up billboards in Vegas right now to see if anybody can come, probably offering a reward to see if anybody knew anything about this that can provide some evidence to maybe why this guy did this shit. You know, it's probably safe to wager right now that none of us are ever going to fucking know why this guy did this. Probably. No one's ever going to fucking know. Which is really fucking weird. Because when you go to all that trouble, me and my mom were talking about this. When you go to all that trouble to kill that many people, usually you have some kind of message that you want the world to know. You want to draw attention to some kind of statement that you want to make. This guy didn't have one. Which is part of the reason why there's a lot of conspiracy theories flying around about it. You know, because none of it makes any fucking sense. But look, there is no way to prevent this. There's no way. You know, I mean, like, if you were to go with the most extreme example, like for instance, if you were to, like tomorrow, if you were to outlaw ownership of all firearms, 100% of firearms, any piece of hardware that could fire a bullet is outlawed tomorrow, you're still not going to stop mass shootings. Ain't going to fucking happen. Because there's still guns out there. Outlaw bumpfire stocks, outlaw AR-15s, AKs, any kind of tactical carbine. It doesn't fucking matter. There is no way to stop this shit. Guns already exist. Mass shootings happen in countries that already have massive gun control. Look at Europe. You know, look at Charlie Hebdo is a perfect example. Perfect example. You know? And, you know, I believe what a lot of I believe what a lot of gun owners vehemently believe would be the best solution. Maybe really the best solution, and kind of the only solution to stopping something like this in the future is not less guns, it's more guns. You know, and me and my buddy kind of got into not an argument, but a little bit of a debate about this, because I was saying, you know, Nevada, I don't know the specifics on their gun laws in Nevada, but they're a gun-friendly state, from what I know. I think they might even have open carry in their state. I know they have concealed carry, you know, but they're a gun-friendly state. But, you know, even if you had a lot of people in that crowd with pistols, they really couldn't have done a whole lot to protect themselves. The only thing that could have maybe stopped that guy, slowed that guy down, something changed, just tilted the scales, is if someone had a long gun to return fire on this fucking guy. You know? And look, this is all speculation, but this is just my opinion. You know? Because I said, look, I mean, if people were able to, you know, carry, like, this is my point. Say Nevada has open carry. I bet you $5 that you cannot carry a gun into that venue. I bet you, like, because I've been to concerts before, and they'll pat you down, look in your bags. Sometimes you got to go through metal detectors and shit. They're pretty big about that shit. But if you had a couple of guys walking around with an AR-15 slung around their back, they could have returned fire. You know, maybe they would have gotten cut down, maybe. But you could have possibly, if someone in an AR-15 or an AK or any kind of long gun, you know, some kind of carbine, something that could put rounds downrange, like with them at the time, they could have returned fire and either drawn fire or forced the guy to take cover, which could have saved lives. You know, in that particular situation, there could possibly be people that are still alive today if something like that happened. You know, and my buddy said, well, dude, come on now. You know, this isn't the Wild West. I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. It's not the Wild West. It's a fucking shooting gallery. It's fish in a barrel. That's what it is. You know what I mean? Imagine that. Think of any Wild West movie you've ever seen. Tombstone, 310 to Yuma, you know, any of those old movies. Where the bandits ride into town in a posse on a bunch of black horses, and they ride right down Main Street, and everybody's closing the shutters and running inside. They ride down to the saloon, and, you know, they start shooting people. They shoot the sheriff and shit like that. Think about those movies and change the plot in your head to where no one in that town has a gun anymore. Think about that. Where it really is the Wild West, but the only people that have guns are the bandits. You know, the bad guys in the posse. They can do whatever the fuck they want. You know, Right? This is just an example. You know, where is a place that shootings don't happen? Gun shows, gun shops. You know, how many robberies and shootings happen in places like that? You know, or I don't know, maybe like the rodeo or something like that. Think of any place where guns are actually allowed. Think about how often shootings actually happen there. You know, I'm just trying, you know, because it's a crazy fucking thought. Like, what I'm saying is crazy to a lot of people. You know, hey, look, man, we live in a civilized society. We live under rule of law. Absolutely. You know, I agree with you. But what I'm saying is still fucking true, is it not? Is it not? Because what I told my buddy when I was on the phone, I said, look, all I know is if I was standing there in the crowd when bullets started raining down upon everyone around me, what I would be thinking, probably my first thought would be, fuck, I wish I had my AR-15 right now. You know, while I'm laying on the grass, really hoping I don't catch a stray bullet. I'd be thinking, fuck, I wish I had a 308. I wish I had a scope 308 with me right now. And a couple 20-round mags. So I could put some fire on this motherfucker. That's what I'd be thinking. I think that's your only fucking solution. Is not less guns, it's more guns. You know, and your typical mass shooting doesn't happen like this. If, you know, where there's a guy from an elevated position who apparently was, like, figured out the ballistics, you know, and, like, he's figured out all the math and written it down on bullet drop and distances and all the ranges and shit like that. Your average mass shooting happens at ground level. You know, where someone with a concealed pistol could stop that guy. And there's a lot of places where there were gun-free zones where if someone had a concealed pistol, they could have stopped that. The Aurora, Colorado shooting, these university shootings, you know, Fort Hood. You know, we trust these people to fight our wars, but we don't trust them to carry guns on base. You know, half these fucking soldiers have security clearances. You know, they made it far enough to where they can enter onto a military installation, but we trust them to enter a military installation and give them government IDs. We don't trust them to carry a gun safely, unless they're overseas. Then you know, have at it. But once you get back to base, nah, you can't have a gun on you. You gotta check that shit in at the armory. You know, free fire zone, man. That's what your gun-free zone is. You know. And even in that case, you got to have someone who has a gun on them, is willing to pull the trigger. But it ain't going to stop. It's never going to stop. You know, gun control, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. And I'm not saying that as a gun owner. I'm saying it as a logical fucking person. Any place that has gun control has plenty of fucking shooting going on. In that city, state, country, it doesn't fucking matter. Mexico has fucking gun control. It's like a goddamn war zone down there. They have strict gun control. You know? Yet it's so violent, their cops or their police force is fucking militarized. You know? They have like M249s and shit. M240s or whatever on like the police trucks. You know, because they have like technicals. The police have like technical trucks and shit. You know, they have gun control. Doesn't fucking do a whole lot. What if you were to flip the script in places like Mexico or Chicago or wherever the fuck and say, you know what? We're repealing all these gun control laws. Go out and get you guys some 45s, some 40 calibers, AR-15s, whatever. You know what? We're an open state. We're open carry state now. Might turn the fucking tide. People are still gonna die, but look, guns exist. They're there. They've been around for a long fucking time. Not only do they exist, but there's a fuck ton of them running around out there. And outlawing them, you want to out like Dianne Feinstein? who said the other day, she's like, wait, you talking about outlawing bump stocks and shit? She said, well, I mean, a lot of people will argue that this is a slippery slope, and I hope it is. She just showed her hand. I'm like, she just said on national news in a press conference that she wants the Second Amendment to be repealed. She hopes it's a slippery slope. You take away all gun, outlaw every gun in the country. It's prohibition. That works, right? You know, like prohibition in the 30s, or the war on drugs. Yeah, how's that war on drugs working out? How hard is it to get drugs in this country? You know, any 14-year-old can get access to drugs. You know, you outlaw something, you just created a black market. Congratulations. They're talking about outlawing bump stocks. These bump stock manufacturers are selling the fuck out. There's thousands of them now they're being shipped all over the country now. Go to Slidefire's website. It's probably still down from how many they've been like inundated with orders. When you even just by talking about outlawing something, you put thousands of them out into the hands of people. Just like that's what happened with Obama. Any gun manufacturer's shop will tell you Obama is the best gun salesman in the history of gun salesmen. Because of Obama, millions of guns were sold. At least hundreds of thousands. You know, ammunition. You couldn't even buy ammunition back when Obama was talking about gun control. You know? So instead of saying like, you know what? Coming out and saying, you know what? Instead of talking about gun control, we're going to try to find something that actually works. They say, no, we're gonna try to outlaw this, that, and the other, blah, 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 and the NRA's got to fight them, and people end up buying guns. Well, look, I'm almost out of time on this video. It went long, but look, what I do want to say to any of you guys who are gun owners, if you got a wish list like I do of guns that you want to buy them, motherfuckers, right now. Order them. Get them ordered. Because it ain't going to stop at bump fire stocks. I'm telling you. And don't think just because Trump's in office that gun control measures won't get passed. Because he's a fucking loose cannon. And ain't no telling what direction he's going to go in. If you got a gun that you want, especially any kind of like tactical carbine or semi-automatic rifle, order it and buy it immediately. Right fucking now. Because this ain't going to stop. And I guarantee you, ammo will start to sell out again and gun prices are going to skyrocket. But there's not a whole lot else I could say about that right now. May touch on another video later, but that's it for now. Let me know what you think in the comments. Talk to you guys later.